Hello everyone. I am doing a quick printing session. I ordered these printable inserts from Lady V Designs, and I think I found her on Instagram, and then I looked her up on Etsy from seeing one of her pictures, and I think that's how it happened. Anyway, I'm gonna print this one out, and I'm going to show you quickly how I'm doing it. And to make it a little easier for you guys to see what's happening, I put my sheet in and I put an arrow pointing down for you so that I can show you exactly how it happens here. So this particular file that I purchased is a weekly tracker, and you don't really have a lot to worry about when you print it because it's only one page, but you do have to think about which way you're flipping it, because I kind of thought before that it wasn't going to be a big deal if I made a mistake, but then once you're cutting it out and you realize that the one on the back is offset, you find out that yes, it does matter. So it's printing out, and I think I've got this down. I think I can show you exactly how it's working with my printer. I honestly don't even know if this is a duplex printer. I don't know what that means. I don't work in an office. I've never worked in an office. I wish I had all those skills. I want to learn them. But right now, I'm working off of, you know, trial and error, and I did it once and I got it to work. So now with this arrow pointing down, I think that now all I have to do is turn it so that the arrow points up. So I put it back in with the arrow pointing up now. You can kind of see that it's there, pointing up. And then I always make sure that it's still with the stack, because you have that tiny little bit of side to side here, and you want it to be as flush as possible as it was before. So I'm just going to tell this to print it again. And it's on landscape. She says to leave it actual size, even though some others say to fit. So I always follow the instructions that are given because they know what they're doing because they designed it. So, by the way, here is my Chic Sparrow Pocket Plus, which I'm in love with. I'll show you that in another video one of these days because I'm working on my Christmas stuff. So, if this is happening the right way, we've got both sides in the right direction. So that is exactly how it's done. So if you need to make yourself a little arrow for reference, it works for me because it's outside of the border anyway. But I always remember now that it's feeding in this way, and then I take that arrow and I point it up to get the next one. So that's how I got that to be pretty easy. So again, those are Lady V Designs. And then I'm going to flip over here past all my crafty mess to show you my other inserts, because I got these, I ordered these from Debbie Myers. No, sorry, I said Debbie. Rebecca. I know someone named Debbie Myers. Rebecca Myers Designs, and I used my big giant, Fiskars cutter, this super freaky heavy duty one, and it's awesome, but it's a huge investment. You know, it's like, since I'm a crafter and I do a lot of work with cutting paper, I'm constantly binding books and making cards and stuff like that. I buy a lot of templates from other scrapbookers, and then I have to cut them out. So I use that a lot. I wouldn't say that someone who's just cutting out planning kind of stuff would need something like that, but you can definitely get like the medium, probably the medium one. I wouldn't get the cheapest one because it's just eventually not going to work. I have one and I gave it to my daughter. So anyway, the big perk to having that gigantic one is that I was able to cut all of the pages at the same time, which this is only one page, but that is really important to me because then I know that every single page is exactly the same size, and it's like the booklet is going to be flush. It almost seems professional. So that's pretty cool. And so what I did was I left this here so you could see this is the top of the page, and you've got your cut line. It tells you where to fold, and I needed that as a reference at first. So what I did was I marked on my scoreboard exactly where it needs to be folded. And I did that ahead of time because once you cut it, you don't see your fold lines anymore. So took that off. It's here on the bottom too. There's her information. And you should definitely check out her store because I was really surprised at her prices, and everything's pretty cute. So if you don't have this scoreboard, this is a Martha Stewart. So I would recommend getting a ruler that goes all the way across, and you could mark these spots on your ruler, and then you could just use your bone folder with like a cutting board, or you know, those Dollar Tree mats that kind of are squishy, like a placemat that's a little bit squishy. That way it has give and you can push on it. That's how I started off with doing these kind of things. So this is the bone folder that comes with this. I don't like it that much, so I use this one. This is the one that I got at Daiso, believe it or not. So my $1.51 works better with this than the Martha Stewart one. I'm sure Martha Stewart's not going to get mad at me for saying that, but this has all your little tongues and grooves, and they're very precise. So I'm able to get the fold exactly where I need it, and I'm following my little washi tape tabs here. And you know, since I'm probably going to do these so often, I might put like a little gold dot there or something just to keep these spots marked. I'll probably do that with most of the projects that I frequent. Like I have like Genevieve templates that I use a lot, and you know, I own the template. I bought it from her, so since I'm using them so often, I might as well make it easier on myself. And while I'm talking about that, I'll show you, oops, I dropped my little David Bowie guy. Okay, so, sorry, I'm so distracted. So this is a template that I'm talking about, and you can see all the folds in there. So just really quickly, this is one of my Genevieve templates, and I made this little scrapbook. So you've got envelopes and you're folding all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely, for me, having a paper cutter that does the job, as well as this folder, makes things a lot easier. So for my for these Rebecca Myers Designs inserts, I just made that a hell of a lot easier to do because it's all done for me. And I don't have to worry now about each page being folded differently or about each page being cut differently. So that's how I handle my printing and cutting and folding. hopefully that helped you out a little bit. I know that 10 minutes is a long time for printing and folding, but trust me, when you're doing this and you're not trying to talk at the same time, you just knock them out. And I can do the bone folding with like usually like 3 pages at a time, and then I just make sure it's nice and creased so that the only thing bulking up my Pocket Plus is stuff that I want to bulk it up, and then I can make these booklets the size that they're supposed to be. So hopefully that helps you. Adios.